Hi, everyone. Welcome to Jersey's Princess Podcast, coming to you from Bravery Studios Live. Today, I have the most special guest here that I'm going to interview. She is a scoliosis warrior. She's a nurse, and she's a brilliant, resilient, and determined dancer. Welcome, Julissa, also known as Juju.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Alex.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad we met. We finally got to meet in person, and we have something in common too.
Yes.
Scoliosis. And that it's actually, if no one knows what that is, basically your spine, there's a curvature, and it's very serious because depending on how bad it is, it could actually puncture your lungs, your heart, and it could get that bad and that severe that you have no choice but to get surgery. And it's life-changing. I'm glad we live in the 21st century where they're able to do things like that.
Me too.
Yeah, so tell me how everything is. When did you know you're going to have scoliosis? Like, when did they tell you about it? Because I know people, they might feel you up and down and you do that basic test and they don't know.
Where do I begin? Well, firstly, my family and I, we weren't educated on anything relative to like scoliosis or anything like that. It was basically discovered at a middle school screening. And I remember that day so vividly because after all the kids were going and we were all in a line, the nurse kind of does the test and then she said, oh, and then had the doctor come in and I felt it. It's like I knew. I was like, something's different about me. And once being told that, my mom didn't have the resources. Rather, she didn't know I was supposed to see someone who was a specialist with that as far as like a surgeon. So I went to a different person who kind of strung my mom along and then eventually hit the right person. So by the time I was 16, I got the surgery.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's insane. I get it. Was it noticeable, physically noticeable?
Yes, it was
On
by the
you?
time I was at that age because it was discovered when I was 12.
Yeah.
So, as you grow and as young girls grow, when you hit puberty, you start to develop. And then that's when it was like the degree of curvature was so bad, it was compacting my lung and I had asthma at the time. So dancing and all of that, it was, not looking good. And the surgeon was like, we need to get in there.
I know, I get that. I think that's one of the most painful surgeries. I remember asking my, I guess, orthopedic surgeon, he was pediatrics, because it was a lot going, my family didn't know either. When you're a young kid, when you're young, even 12 years old, you're very strong and you're agile. No one thinks someone so young will have such a problem or your back hurting or breathing difficulties, all because of posture is really important. But sometimes our bones are not as strong, but you strengthen it every day. And I wanted to ask you, how was the surgery and where'd you get it done?
I had it done at University Hospital. Okay. So they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal. I just remember waking up and feeling shocked because you wake up and it was like, I can't get up from this bed. Yeah. So it was like I was dancing a couple days before and then, boom. But I had a good multidisciplinary team.
Okay.
I had a new respect for physical therapists because of that experience.
Your patience.
Yes. And I think it created a pivot in my life to make me understand why I wanted to get in the medical field from that moment. But really, it was transformational.
No, it really is. I got my surgery at 15 years old. My curvature, I think, it was really bad. I think it was over 50 degrees off. Wow. Insane. And they said, I won't live to see 20 if I don't get this done because a brace wouldn't do anything for me. But it was very scary, very painful. And yeah, from a dancer to laying in bed, physical therapy, you have to relearn how to walk again. You have to relearn how to sit up again. Like I remember they would put a pillow, make sure you do it on your own. You don't realize how heavy your trunk, your torso is, and having to lift that up. And it's constant therapy, constant doctor's appointments. Being 15 or 16 years old, going to doctors, it's a lot. And even being with your peers, it's different.
Yes.
I remember I couldn't play gym in high school. I don't know about you, right after surgery.
I couldn't take dance class because I was fortunate enough to go to a public school that had the arts as part of the curriculum. So I couldn't take gym. I couldn't, I remember, what I remember? You just brought up something, a memory for me, a core memory. I remember getting up and for the first time and feeling very dizzy.
Okay.
And then I remember the weight inside. So it, with the physical therapist, he's like, okay, we're going to walk. And then I'm going to have you hold on one end and one end, right? Assisted. And then I had to learn how to let go because I wasn't used to having the weight of the metal inside.
Yeah.
So it was like, whoa, like something is different now.
It is.
And that just unlocked the new memory.
No, yeah, those are harroting rods and screws.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I asked the same question, and people still ask me to. Yes, we could still go to the airports, and no, it won't make an alarm, but I give everyone a heads up because things could change, and that's why also like being with MRIs, we have to be careful with that too, because MRIs are a magnet, and this metal is
yes.
But it's a lot. How big is your scar? How
So it goes like from the base of my neck to about mid back. Okay. So I want to say it's pretty long. It doesn't go into the lumbar region.
All right.
Yeah. So it's not in any of my C's. So cervical, which okay.
Yeah, good.
But it's good.
Yeah, you don't realize how much like our bodies are so fragile and delicate, no matter what stage you're in, and it's a lot of work. And I love that you are dancing now, and I love that this, what you learned as a kid, this inspired you to want to help people, study our bodies and help others. This is what it's all about. Sharing is caring. No, sharing really is caring. And I used to always be embarrassed. I remember even putting my purse on this side because I always felt like I had a little hunch and everything. And but now this is why I embrace it now. I'm like, you know what, my surgeon, that was like, I guess my first tattoo, my surgeon, like I'm gonna show this off. Like it was a 4.5 hour procedure and extremely painful.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I have is, and maybe you have it too, is just the scapular wing where your shoulder is distended. And they always told my mom, oh, she has to come back so we can fix that. But we didn't have the resources. And I was like not trying to miss more dance and, all of that. But I still deal with that. That's one of my struggles to this day. I love when you said that you're embracing it.
I am.
For a long time, I used to cover it.
Me too.
I used to wear sweaters or like coverings and all that. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I hiding this? And it's so interesting. One day I was taking class at a studio in New York, and I saw everyone had like a sports bra, and she had her hair in a ponytail, and you could see her scar. And I wanted to say to her, like, I got that too, but you don't know how some people would react. But I love that I wasn't the only one in the room. So it also led me to believe like it's okay to like let it sweater off.
It really is. Like, I don't know if it's because we are females, but I've always been self-conscious all the time. And my back, I really was extra conscious of it. Same thing, sports bras. I never do sports bras because I didn't like the way my back looked. Like you said, the upper scapula on one side, it does expand a whole lot more, and I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
But ever since my diagnosis with multiple sclerosis, I'm like, I'm going to embrace who I am. I have to give people what they want and what they have to see, and we have to fix this. So the next tutorial will be diagnosed with scoliosis. I feel like I love that your school had those dances. That was amazing. That was amazing. Me, I did cheerleading in middle school. I couldn't continue it into high school because of my back and the jumping. But I realized dance is the best therapy for it.
It is. It really is. You don't realize it, but I remember having to sit out and watch, like, so this surgery happened during the time where we were preparing for like a big showcase.
Okay.
So I was very sad, like, but then I knew that had to happen. I still was able to perform at the end of the year in June, but I had to beg the surgeon to like give me release. He was like, as long as you do 3 months consecutive of like physical therapy and like care and everything, rest, then. Yeah. But I was young and I was able to like bounce back, you know? So it was really good. I felt so good.
I love it.
Because that was the thing. I knew like that was going to change me. Sometimes I look back and I look at one of the high school photos of me in like a really pretty arabesque, and I'm like, wow, that was before the surgery. So sometimes I'm like, oh, but it's a memory. So.
I love that. Arabesque, that's a position in dance where your leg and arm is extended. You see the beautiful lines on your body. And that's why I love dance too.
I love it.
It really is. It's not only physical therapy, it's mental therapy.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just remembering your combinations. I feel like it does keep you youthful on the inside and the outside.
Yes, definitely. I mean, neuroscientifically, if you really look at it, it is beneficial for us, you know, and it is important to like keep moving no matter what it is, right? We want to look at longevity. We want to look at brain health longevity as well. And from what I understand in the studies, you know, it's a possible combatant for potential Alzheimer's.
No, it is. It absolutely is. We've got to build up that neuroplasticity in that brain. And I know dance definitely does that.
Yeah.
I've seen you on Instagram and I've seen your videos. I can't believe, like, you're beautiful. Like,
thank you.
I can't even believe your age too. I was scrolling down. I'm like, no way.
I know.
No, I'm like,
I'm up there.
like, no, but no, you're gorgeous and you're vibrant. You're young.
Thank
and
you.
I love what you're doing. I was going to say, for nursing, what is it that you do?
So I'm a licensed practicing nurse.
Okay.
I worked a lot in the pediatrics. I love peds. Wow. I didn't realize I would, but I love peds. And now I work in nursing informatics. So now I'm on the admin end, and I did all of the care end, and now I'm kind of like on coordination care.
I love it. I love it. You get to see all aspects of it.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been in the healthcare field too. Like, right here in the city of Garfield, the one doctor that discovered that I had scoliosis was the Contis. He's a famous doctor in Garfield.
I know who he is.
You know who he is?
Yes,
there you go.
He's awesome.
He's awesome. He's awesome. He's awesome. I was just at his restaurant too yesterday. They passed away, unfortunately, but he was the first one because he also worked with, I'm not going to say pediatrics, but with kids.
Yes.
He was our school doctor. So it was like, touch your toes, feel your spine. He's like, that got to be checked out. You got to look at that. It makes all the difference, you know? Don't ever feel embarrassed either, guys. Speak up if something is bothering you, or if you're in pain, you feel something weird. You know, you start noticing, or even your kids, you might notice, let's just say, shortness of breath. You don't know what it could be. Just ask questions. It is okay.
Yeah.
And this is what I like about this generation in this world now, technology world now. There's no shame in this game. I know.
That's right.
I like to rhyme. There's no shame in this game. And you got to do what you got to do. And we're all beautiful and gorgeous and resilient.
Yes.
And yes, we're all different. Sometimes a little extra different, you know? Like, I guess we were a bit fragile with the scoliosis, but we're stronger than ever. And by the way, we are stronger than ever. Harrington rods and screws. I feel like our backbone, our spine is really safe.
Yes.
Yeah, like always safe. I do feel that. Yeah, I love that you do the nursing. There's a lot with nursing. Nurses changed my life. I actually look forward to seeing my nurses.
Yeah.
I go every month to the hospital to maintain my MS, and I love them. They saw me literally, like, started from the bottom. I really did. Like, even holding a fork, doing things. Even with scoliosis surgery, I just remember the same thing. You don't realize how much of your back muscles you use just by forking something or brushing your teeth. Like, you feel that. You're just breathing in your back, and it doesn't take a week to get better. It takes months, maybe over a year to completely heal. I remember I was young too. I was like, I can't go to Six Flags. I can't go on roller coasters. But now it's like, how do you live? Is it normal now for you?
Wow, good question.
Yeah.
I think for me now, because my body's maturing, you know, there is some degeneration in my bones that is happening. Unfortunately, I cannot reverse the clock, even though, you know, like I look younger than I am. But one of the things I found is knowing my body and creating a maintenance, right? Yeah. So I get massages, you know, I explore things like acupuncture. I've done things in a holistic sense, things that have brought me healing, even if it's just small stretching on a yoga mat, just to relieve some of the tension that sometimes I have. Yeah. Because I do have still a lot of tension in my shoulders, well, my right shoulder, because that's the one that's like the little wing.
Me too. Listen, it's on my right side. It's on my right side. Yeah. What you're talking about, I really understand. You know, I get it.
We're connected.
Yeah, we're connected.
Official.
No, officially, scoliosis sisters.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but it's a lot. Like, you know, I know when you have to go to surgery, that was the last resort, because they always want to give you the brace as an option. But when it's a little bit too late, because you are growing at 12, 13, 14, you know, now the biological clock in that sense is ticking. And by the way, we all start aging. Our cells, our telomeres start to shorten, and our cells start dying at the age of 25. So a quarter century to living in this life, we start aging. And hopefully one day we could absolutely reverse that, you know?
Yeah, I think it's also like feeding the inner child. I think that's what's keeping everyone so young that I'm looking at across the space.
That's true.
Because I wanted to talk a little bit about in the dance space that the respect that I have with this new generation, they are amazing.
They really are.
Sometimes you want to like search the age gap in the room and you're like, man, I'm in the room with these 20-year-olds.
But I'm the oldest in my class too.
That's what I mean. But the love and the care and the respect is there. And like these new dance spaces are now fostering what we should have had when we were younger.
Absolutely. I'm thinking back when I had my surgery, in early 2000, like there's no way. I don't even think any dance school would have accepted a teenager that high school. They wouldn't.
I faced a lot because I was still taking private academy lessons on top of what my school curriculum dance program was giving me.
Wow.
And yeah, I went through a lot in the private space because they had never dealt with that. And I feel like this is why it's so important for instructors to know about anatomy and physiology, to understand, to be open, to receive, right? Because a lot of people are battling things, whether the disability is seen or unseen, and then creating the safe space where that can be verbalized. Because in context, if you're in a space where it's too toxic, you're going to be reluctant to share like what your limitation is, and I'm not saying we have to befriend everyone, but we have to respect everyone.
Absolutely. That's what I love about this new generation too. There's a lot of acceptance, and I feel like every generation gets smarter than the next. Just think about it. 2,000 years ago, we came from the caves. Look how we adapted in advance. I feel like their brain space is different. That's what allows them to show more love. And to show more love, I feel like you're just brilliant. And I love what you do as a nurse. I love what you do dance. I love how committed you are. And I watch all your videos on Instagram. You're a beautiful, awesome
Thank you.
dancer. Yeah, strong. Like you won't even know that you had scoliosis surgery. And I know a lot of people with scoliosis that would, shy away from it because of that. Not only just because of the image, but also limitations. There's a way to adapt. There's a way to adapt to things. And I like that there's acceptance with that in dance.
And that's one thing that I teach as an instructor is to modify, or I can offer modifications. But as I've grown and I'm learning to self-modify when I'm in a space that's a little more advanced, right? And I've just started now recently to become more vocal with instructors if I'm taking their class and letting them know, hi, I do have scoliosis. I am limited in my spine. So if there are any movements that require any flexibility, I will be self-modifying. Also to let them know I'm not disrespecting their choreography. And then I realized having the conversation was important, but I had shied away from it so much from the trauma from the past that now I'm being more vocal.
I love that. And not only that, people appreciate it. I always, even with dance, I guess because we are dancers, we're used to instruction. Please correct me because I don't want to continue doing something wrong because you could really hurt yourself, whether it be an ankle or whatever it is. Please, like I love people that speak up. It's encouraging. And it does take a lot because you're like, damn, this person's running a business and, they have a reputation in their school. But this is shining light on them and you're only making them better. I even feel when we dance, being that despite that, our handicap with the scoliosis, and we have limitations, we can't do our back bends or not as far, but I feel like we can definitely motivate the younger generation because they're like, how are you doing it? Like, especially with your back, like, how are you doing it? And it gives them the energy to do it too. I personally feel good in class, and I even see with your friends and everyone you dance with, everyone's very happy.
And the community, the love, let me tell you, the love is real. It's not just the fire emoji. No, we really love each other. Like, we really support each other. We show up, You know what I mean? And I want to share something now that we're like scoliosis sisters, because we have a special bond. I want to share something that I have recently discovered. Being yourself is so important, right? In all aspects. But what we can do, I look at that and highlight that versus what we can't do.
Absolutely.
Versus the limitation, right? Because I discovered that all of our movements are going to be unique, right? I'm not going to look like the teacher. I'm not going, right? When it comes to certain things. I remember there was a choreography that I learned, and it was more or less like having to do a back bend.
Oh, wow.
But can I tell you, when I looked back at the video and I saw that I just went back straight like a board, right? It gave the choreography something different because it was relative to the tone. Yeah, I could have, you know, extended myself in my limit, but I said, what if I go all the way back? And I did. And it was like incredible. And I said to myself, let's start embracing the uniqueness.
Yeah.
Because that's what I want to celebrate.
We're celebrating it. And I love that. I'm telling you, we're entering 2025 and we really are celebrating that. We're embracing all that. Even in my dance class, we have so many different people there and they have different abilities too. But they're great dancers. They're awesome. And I love the self-confidence, and you're just going to keep propelling from there. You always, and I like that, no more talks of limitations, what you can't do. There's a lot of things we can't do. Like, I can't fly a plane, you know? It's cool. It's all good. Like, we could do it a different way. We're doing it our way, and you're doing it beautifully.
Yes.
And while you're helping society, like, you're, you know, you're a value creator.
Same to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Kudos, because I don't know anyone out there. You need to get tapped in with her because she is amazing. You're awesome.
You're awesome too. You're awesome too. I want them, tell them where you perform or
wow.
Where you perform, what you do. I see you have events.
Oh yeah. So basically I perform where I can, mostly in New York and sometimes in New Jersey. I'm part of different groups and networks. I take classes, a lot of performance-based classes as well. So you'll see some of the content. I'm not affiliated with any studio at the moment, but I'm working on my brand and building my choreography. So yeah.
This is amazing. No, seriously, women are making history. Really are. And it's all about business, art, science, and business.
Yes.
You know, you have the idea, you put in the work, and you could really make it happen. Yes, you know, you could do hard things. You could do hard things, and it's okay. And it's okay. And I love you. I love you, Julissa. I feel like I've known you for a very long time. And keep doing it. You're gonna
we're gonna work together. Don't worry.
Work together. We're doing the performance here at the very own Bravery Studios in the Empire Building. I'm amazed. And how can all of our viewers get to contact you or view you? Do you have a TikTok or Instagram?
I do. I have Instagram. You can follow me on Dancing with Juju, Juju. Juju is my dance studio name that my friend gave me. So it's Dancing with Juju.
Julissa. I love it. Dancing with Juju. We're going to be doing pirouettes, suit to news.
Why not?
Let's do that. Let's do that. But there's a lot. And only that, confidence is beautiful and we're beautiful.
Yes.
And looking at you, you would never know that you've been through such a very extremely painful experience.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for all the doctors that, listen, guys, go to school, study, because everything you think you could bring into fruition, whether you are that doctor, whether you are that nurse, whether you are a choreographer, you're a business owner and you have your own studio, whether it be a podcast studio, a dancing studio, Juju's. And always keep a positive aspect. Always keep a positive mindset. Always believe in yourself, because you never know who's looking up to you. You never know who's inspired by your story.
Yes.
You know, I was introduced to you by one of our mutual friends, and he was like, yeah, you know, you should have her on your show. I looked at your profile. I was like, I absolutely want this warrior on my show.
Yay.
Yeah, people need to hear this, like, because it will inspire the next person.
Yes. And it's time to turn the pain into beauty, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a good tagline.
Yeah, turn the pain into beauty. And that's what you literally did.
Yeah, we are going to
Yeah, we're doing it. We're dancing. We're dancing. These scoliosis warriors.
Yeah.
Scoliosis is a crazy, crazy like I'm telling you, I remember like it was painful. Like I remember even
Yes.
I'm thinking it was in my backpack from school because we had all the books.
Yes.
But it's more than that. But I really feel like stretching really helps out.
Yes.
With scoliosis, yeah, I still have, I think to this day, I still have dead tissue, you know, skin tissue. Like even let's just say
In the middle,
yeah, in the middle, like
right?
that scar tissue, like that skin is not the same. It even
Yeah.
feels different. Even if you do get massages,
Yes.
you feel the difference in your body. But it's important to not neglect yourself, you know, and whether you could see a chiropractor or not, or get a massage, even if you go to the mall, those little kiosks,
Yes.
sometimes 15, 20 minutes, having somebody rub on you, get, you know, those blood vessels
100%.
moving, it helps out.
Yeah. And just like movement is the therapy, right? Like even going for the walk or like just like doing arm circles just to like make the rotations happen helps so much.
Yeah, you don't realize any little thing, just turning that arm, your back has so much to do with it. Breathing. And I feel like I never appreciated my body parts as much as I ever did since I had that surgery as a kid, because I didn't realize how everything, like, it's all connected, but you don't realize. Even when you have to bend down and pick something up, it's a lot. But now I feel like I'm not in pain anymore, like how I used to be. And I hope we never have to get surgery and revisit this ever again.
I hope not either.
I feel like because you're active, motion is lotion. There's a saying, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So you have to use it. You know, we have one beautiful, magnificent body, and we got to do whatever we have to do to maintain that. And I love that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Juju, thank you so much for coming to Bravery Studios on Jersey's Princess podcast, where we highlight everyone's ability, no matter what it is that they're battling. They come out like warriors, and you're doing it with such resilience and grace. And I appreciate you.
Much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Julissa. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Mark.